What's up, YouTube land? Xeno Gaming here for round number 2 of the Trans Nations No Assist League Tier 2. Here today, the Bahrain Grand Prix, and hopefully looking to improve compared to, or score some points at least, compared to last week after a bit of a disastrous opening round of the season. Really, I threw away a few points there, which was not an ideal start to the season here, as we're back in the Alpha Tower car. So looking for a much better result at Bahrain this week, and this is one of my weaker tracks, I think, on the game. So I'm hoping to just be in contention for some good solid points to open our account here this season. But we'll see how we go as we now start our first qualifying lap. We can see a 1:26 there, and here's our second lap in qualifying. I'm going to show this lap in full. This is my best lap for the session. So coming into turn 1, braking just before the 100-meter board, I get it back down to second gear, and now trying to be as smooth and careful on the throttle as possible. And now open the DRS on the run to turn 4, braking just after the 100-meter board, hold it in 7th gear, back down to 3rd, use the inside curb, hope it doesn't unsettle the car. Didn't get the smoothest exit there, and back down the 5th gear here. It says we're purple through the sector 1. I think that's just a timing glitch. I was definitely not purple through the first sector here. A lot of lock-ups there into the turn 8, and now come into 9-10, which is a tricky corner. And we don't lock up into this corner, and we actually get a good run through there, getting the power up pretty nicely, not optimal though. And on the run, turn 11, this is a great corner, back down to 4th gear, completely missed the apex, and now the run up the hill, sweeping around this right hand corner, and now into turn 13, and hit that apex nicely, but I wasn't too aggressive. I was a decent exit, but you're going to come into the last corner here. We're still down on our first lap, and we gain a lot of time here out of the last corner. We go up on our time, come across the line to a 1:26.6, which isn't a stellar lap at all. Just wasn't fast at all. Wasn't good. Made a mistake at the left-hander in the middle of the lap there. Yeah, it was a slow lap, and you can see we're down in 13th currently. So we need to do a much better lap in our last run to just have a decent starting spot in the grid. I'm not expecting to trouble for pole here today, or even a top 5. I just want to probably want to be, somewhere near that top 5. But it's we're gonna have to put in a much better lap. So now we'll join on here for our last lap and our last chance for a top 10 start here in this race. It's really quite critical. We go into turn 1 here, went as late as a dare on the brakes, and here on the exit of 1 through 2, just a little bit too much on the throttle pedal, and lost the rear end a bit as we come in the 4 down. So we've already lost the 10th, on the run to turn 4, 10th and a half. Have a little wiggle on the exit of 4 as well, which is losing us more time, but we gain a bit of time through the S's here. Now we got our teammate off, and then there's a Alfa Romeo in the racing line, and we unfortunately get a bit distracted there and lock up, ruin the lap. So yeah, it's going to be really disappointing. 14th place. Had our last lap ruined a little bit, but I don't think I was going to find too much more time. Probably would have found a bit of time in turn 11, but yeah, it was poor qualifying in general. Just didn't have any pace when I needed it, and counted. I couldn't put in the laps before, and when I needed to put a lap, I had a little bit of traffic, unfortunately. But there's not much I can do about it. Just got to do a better job earlier in the session. So that's a bit of a shame. But we come to the start of the race here, and I was debating which tyre to start on. I decided I wanted to start on the hard tyre, and it was being a little bit frustrating here, the game, to get it switched. I wish they would fix this a little bit. It can be a little bit annoying sometimes. Not fix it, but just make it a little bit easier for the player. And it didn't even put me on the hard tyre because I guess I didn't confirm it. So that's a little bit frustrating. So we'll get into this Grand Prix now from 14th. It's going to be tricky. We're on the medium tyre. It's going to be a one-stop medium to hards, I'd say, is what we're aiming to do here. As we now get ready for the 5 red lights here in the Bahrain desert. And here we go, 5 red lights here in Bahrain. Revs rise, and it is go here for the race. And we get a decent enough launch off the line. The Alpha's got a poor start there. We go past him. Going to go into turn 1, get past the Williams. They almost go into the back of Brett in the Ferrari ahead. And a bit of contact there from the Williams on the outside. And then more contact from the Williams there. And we go through the gravel. And we've got a bit of damage already to our front wing. So, bit of a, not sure, bit of an innocent, unfortunate incident there in turn 1 and 2. And, you know, there wasn't much I could do about that. I gave him as much room as I possibly could. Unfortunately, I don't know, couldn't make the corner for whatever reason. I'm not sure if he had a car on his inside. Who knows? I don't know. But it's a bit annoying. But we're going to go down the inside here into turn 9 and 10, and we get that move done, and we get a pretty good exit here as well. As now we open up overtake mode, and we're going to slipstream here ahead on Brett, and we're going to have a look down the inside here, and he's going to have a look down the inside on Gio, and unfortunately 3 into 1 doesn't go, and there's more damage to the front wing now. So that's going to be that's going to need a front wing change, and this has really been a disastrous opening lap, and a safety car deployed because the Racing Point here has crashed into the wall in the opening lap. So that's unfortunate for his race, and that's the Racing Point of Addy, who unfortunately has crashed there. We're coming for a front wing change. It's a bit of a disastrous weekend so far. Poor result in qualifying, trying to make up for it on the opening lap, and really 3 into 1 doesn't go, and probably should have backed out of that. I didn't expect Brett to be having a look at Joe himself, so a bit unfortunate. Kind of a bit of a racing incident there. Not much. Yeah, probably should have just backed out of that one. So now we've got a tough race here on the hard tyres, but I actually wanted to start on this tyre, so now I'm probably going to go on to a hard soft strategy, which is probably what I wanted. And the safety car probably just it's helped us a lot, because we had a broken front wing, we had to pit regardless, and now here's the Jack just having a bit of a spin on the restart lap. I'm not sure what happened to him. That's a bit of a weird one to be spinning there. I don't know if he was spun on his own or if he had to avoid another car, but anyway, regardless, we're going to get the restart underway here, and we're behind Axel here in the Renault, and he hasn't got the best run out of the last corner, so we're going to try to go down the inside, and he's got some good straight line speed here, and we're going to have to pop it back into the slipstream, but we're going to go deep under the brakes and get that stopped quite nicely actually, and move into 11th place. So now we're chasing the 2 Ferraris of Brett and March up on, and they're both on the medium tyres. So once again behind Brett, who but not having a great run through turn 4. We've had a couple of battles with Brett already early on this year, as March runs really wide through turn 7, and he takes an interesting line through the hairpin, and Brett goes raw around the outside of him and makes that move stick. And now moving on to the end of lap 4 here, and we've got a good run here on the Ferrari driver, and we'll have a look down the inside for sure. We're going to be close enough here into the braking zone. I'm confident on the brakes, and we make a really good dive and clean. So we move up into 10th place here. So now we're going to just focus on catching the cars ahead, and Brett is behind Goran there, and we are picking up our first time penalty. As we now move here to lap 9. Brett still hasn't found a way past Goran. He was really fast in the straight line speed. As now we exit turn 9, and Brett has a little bit of moment on the rear, and that's a gift for us to move ahead another position. And now we're chasing Goran here, who is on the hard tyre, so he's on the same strategy as us, so this is a key pass. We've got Addy behind also on the hard tyre on the same strategy as us, so we're racing these guys here today with Ken ahead on the mediums, leading this Grand Prix now. We make a really nice move though into turn 1, but yeah, Ken ahead on the medium tyre hasn't stopped yet in this race, and he's doing a one stop as well, so it's going to be a battle between us in terms of maybe the lower scoring positions today. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to run, but here on the start of lap 15 you got Addy now behind us in the racing point. I'm not going to fight this too much. I didn't have a lot of battery to play with, so I thought my thinking here was to just try and sit in his DRS here and hope that he can drag me along a little bit. My pace wasn't too great. I didn't want to fight it too much at this point, and maybe hopefully have a attack later on. Just yeah, we'll just see how that goes. But unfortunately I lost a lot of time in the lap. I made a mistake in the middle of the lap here, and then, but more importantly, I made another big mistake here on the exit and straight into the barrier here, which is of turn 11. This is just a disaster for us really, and trying to rejoin us carefully as I could, and I don't think I did the best job here because I lit up the rear tyres, and yeah, that was a bit of a mess, so apologies there. So after all the troubles we'd had, it looked like we were having a good run on a hard tyre, but I've dropped it halfway through this race, and this is really just, yeah, when it rains it pours, I guess, for myself here in these league races, and not what I needed. And this is, now we're running here on the medium tyre, so we've skipped ahead a little bit now. Harry he was on a 2-stop strategy this race. He came out ahead of us, and we were kind of just following him. He was a little bit quicker. I couldn't catch him, and he gets past March here, and so there's still a chance for potentially to score some points maybe. So if we can just focus and maybe get a little bit of luck on our side here as we follow March here, but I don't think that. I think it's going to be a very low chance of points. You can see where the pack is ahead, and it'd have to be a few overtakes in there and some good speed, but there's not a lot of time left, so maybe not actually. As we'll see if we can get past March here down the back straight. We've got a good run here, and we're going to go down the inside potentially, and we're going to just outbrake ourselves a little bit, and that's allows March to get the up and under on us, and now he sweeps through. He just touches that curb a little bit on the inside of 12, and unfortunately I just didn't really have anywhere to go and kind of ran into him, and he goes into the barrier. He's out of the race, so really, yeah, once again just a bit of bad luck. I couldn't avoid him, unfortunately, and I think I kind of just helped push him into the wall, which not what I wanted. Wasn't really much I could do about it. I tried to avoid it. I simply just couldn't. I don't have the reflex skills, I guess. So we'll come in now and we'll put on the soft tyre. And this race is a write-off. Unfortunately, it's 2 weeks in a row to start the season. It's just, yeah, not what we wanted for some league racing. And here in Transnation, I was hoping to maybe fight and contend for a title potentially here, and to not score any points here from the first 2 races. We set the fastest lap for a consolation prize. We're not going to get a point for it as we're not in the top 10. Yeah, I was hoping to not score any points here in the first 2 races of the season is not a great start, and really puts us on the back foot. We're going to have to be pretty phenomenal through the rest of the season to do anything. And my pace today was just horrible. So we come across the line, and that's a terrible result of 13th place, so really disappointing, and hopefully we can improve for the next race at the Vietnam Grand Prix. But Phil takes the win. He unluckily didn't win last week because of the safety car late that was caused by my crash when he had dominated the race. This time he gets a little bit of luck on his side with I think the virtual safety car that was caused by the incident between me and March helped him win this Grand Prix. I'm not too sure what happened at the front, but he wins the race here today with Robin in second and Ken in third. So fantastic result for those guys. So yeah, it's disappointing Grand Prix for us today, and hopefully we can be a lot better in the next few races. So you can see, doing that many pit stops, you're never going to score points. Our teammate Hamish is able to finish with a points finish, so at least that we get 2 points on the board here this weekend for Tauri. But that's been today's video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. We'll have the Oceania League race at the Vietnam Grand Prix coming tomorrow, so hopefully you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel for plenty more F1 2020 content. Until then, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.